Okay, here's what's going on. Congressman Jason Chaffetz, the distinguished gentleman from the 3rd District of Utah, has been doing some
really cool multimedia stuff
since he's been in Congress. He's on an online video series called Freshman Year on CNN.com, and he has also been posting videos to YouTube on his own channel and doing, and this is what I think is really cool, Cot-Side Chats. For those of you who don't know, Congressman Chaffetz has decided to forego getting an apartment in Washington, D.C. He has a cot in his office, and he sleeps on his cot, and he showers down at the congressional gym. Also, he figures, he's there to work and not to live, which I think is terrific. So he's been doing these Cot-Side Chats. And one of the things that he talked about was the omnibus bill. I left a comment on it, raising a couple of points that I thought, were worth mentioning. I also sent him an email, gave him kudos for doing the Cot-Side Chats and telling him, it was really innovative and a good way to keep in touch. But I also told him that I'm the type of guy who's going to leave comments that may challenge him on a few things, and I might raise a counterpoint or two that, he could expect more of that in the future. Well, ever since I sent him that email, Congressman Chaffetz has decided to disable the comments feature on his YouTube channel. Not only for every subsequent video he's been uploading, but the first one that I left comments on. You can't read my comments. They're gone. That has me, kind of concerned because, my thinking is that, when we elect someone to Congress, they are there to represent us. And in order to faithfully represent us, they need to be willing to hear us out. Not just listen to the opinions of the people who voted for him. He also represents the, I think it was around 40% of the district that didn't vote for him. Any congressional representative needs to be willing to hear out their constituents. I've had a really cool exchange of letter writing with Senator Orrin Hatch. I really get a kick out of talking with Senator Hatch because he always takes the time to respond to my letters, even when he disagrees with me. And it's always cordial and friendly, and I'm just really impressed by that. I'd like to see more of our representatives do that. Specifically, though, I'd like to see Congressman Chaffetz do that. The advantage that he has with having stuff on YouTube, as long as you can comment on it, is that, you can have whole threads of conversations going on between different constituents. And, hear a bunch of different ideas. And I think it would work to his advantage to be able to let that happen and then go through and hear what his constituents have to say to each other and from time to time interject on his own. But that can't happen if he's going to insist on disabling the comments feature, which I have a particular objection to as a veteran. I spent 5 years in the Navy defending the Constitution of the United States, which includes the Bill of Rights. And the #1 bill is a freedom of speech. So anytime someone tries to impede that right or curtail it in any way, even if it's on comments on his YouTube channel, I'm going to take issue with that. I think it sends the wrong message to the constituency. It basically says that, well, I'm not willing to hear what you have to say. I'm just doing these Cot-Side Chats to lecture you or just tell you what I think. Congressional representatives are there to represent us, not to think for us. I'm going to appeal to Congressman Chaffetz's patriotism, and he is a great patriot. And I'm going to ask him to please turn the comments feature back on and listen to what constituents have to say, even if, he doesn't agree with it. And I think that would send a much better message to the constituency. Congressman Chaffetz was talking about how it was kind of interesting that President Obama made a big deal about there being no earmarks on the stimulus bill, but with the omnibus bill that Congress was looking at, there was like $8 billion worth of earmarks, and President Obama wasn't saying anything about it. I pointed out in my comment to Congressman Chaffetz that about 40% of all those earmarks were put in by Republicans. So, it's like, it's not necessarily, it's not a party thing, And also, I've heard some Republicans on the news actually go so far as to say that, oh, well, I don't think this project constitutes an earmark, you know. So apparently that attitude was, well, if Democrats do it, it's an earmark. If a Republican does it, it's a very necessary special project that has to be included. Congressman Chaffetz was talking about his concern about the budget. And the deficit, you know, and all the deficit spending that's going on. If you ask any Keynesian economist, they'll tell you that during times of economic recession, running that deficit in the federal budget is acceptable. Of course, we have a problem here because we were running a deficit, you know, when the economy was doing fine in the last 8 years, or 7 of the last 8 years anyway, or 6 really. Anyway, bottom line, Congressman, please turn back on the comments on your video logs. Let us know that you care about what we think, you know, and even if you disagree with us, better to communicate that disagreement to us than to just, you know, turn off comments, because it makes us feel like we're not being listened to, you know. And just listening can really go a long way, and you know, getting support from your, you know, from your constituency, you know. Yeah, that's about it. So, okay, well, that's it.